Deep in the British countryside, there's a sleeping giant.
This complex completely dominates the landscape. You've got beautiful brick buildings. You can spot the ruins of old pipelines. You've got massive towers and pumps, and these piles of broken up rock and concrete everywhere.
The site is highly impressive. There's a vast array of buildings, and it's clear a great deal of money was clearly spent on them. It was once a booming site, but something must have gone wrong here, and quite fast.
Inside the buildings lurk other hidden features that hint at what this site once was.
This was clearly a quasi-industrial setup of some sort, a large-scale operation at one point, employing hundreds, maybe thousands of people, all bent towards one crucial task. But now it's a sad, odd place. It's abandoned. It's slowly succumbing to nature.
There are railway carriages just left abandoned, and then this huge chimney. This must be a clue as to what this site was.
Clearly, there was something valuable here that made building all this worthwhile. But what was it? And where is it now? This sprawling work site was originally intended to transform the area of North Staffordshire. But it was no easy task.
When this site was built, the resources of the land around here were ready and waiting to be tapped into and exploited.
So there's great wealth to be had. It's there for the taking, but it's not going to come easy. People are going to have to put their lives on the line to get to it.
The source of that wealth remains hidden from view even today. Nigel Smith is a local historian.
This is Chatterley Whitfield, a site that used to produce material that powered a nation.
Coal powered everything. People's homes, businesses, industry. With coal, you had an economy. And with an economy, you had wealth.
The coal seams of North Staffordshire are some of the richest in the world.
Of the coal mines in the region, this was the jewel in the crown. It had the greatest manpower and the highest production rate of any mine.
At one time, it was employing 5,000 people, and 4,000 of those worked underground.
But working here often came at a deadly price. In 1937, one area of the mine wrote its name in history.
There are several shafts on site, but this is the Hesketh. The Hesketh is the first shaft anywhere in the UK to be responsible for producing 1 million tonnes of saleable coal.
In today's money, that would be worth over £50 million. It was a hugely profitable business. But to bring coal out of the seams required specialist machinery and some very brave miners. Roy Neate was only 17 when he was first sent down the pit.
I felt terrified at first. It's like the darkness and then the noises. As soon as you hear a noise, you're looking around. Where's that? You know? If you hear a creak, you think the roof's going to come in.
Throughout much of the 19th and 20th centuries, the miners faced many deadly situations.
So a bloke killed. We were salvaging a face, getting all the material off the face. They were pumping cement in the sides. You have to build a big wall, and they put too much cement in, and we just got past, and it exploded out. And the blocks hit him and killed him instantly. And then we had to carry him out of the pit. Very dangerous.
Despite the risks, the wheels of production had to keep on turning. Coal was absolutely essential to the running of the country.
The biggest accident happened in 1881. From records, the accident itself seems to have stemmed from an underground fire that got out of hand, and obviously that ignited the methane gas that was below ground. There was a huge explosion. 24 men and boys lost their lives, and to this day there are still bodies actually underground.
Over 2 centuries, the North Staffordshire coal seam saw more than 4,500 fatalities. And in the late 1930s, a terrifying new threat came to add to the dangers.
When World War II broke out, the demand for coal in Britain skyrocketed. It was needed to fuel the armaments industry, the munitions industry, to fuel soldiers' homes and their families' homes. They were going to need to produce more coal faster than they had ever done before.
This place had to become an even more productive mining machine, a constant inferno of activity. They had to put in place a whole new infrastructure, which included crushing plants, underground railway lines, networks of pipes on land, and deep tunnels.
The whole British economy was dependent on coal, and the Germans knew it.
Hitler knew how vital the coal industry was to the entire British economy, and particularly its ability to produce munitions, to keep fighting. He wanted to stop the British coal industry at any price.
Stoke-on-Trent was a strategic, high-priority target for the Nazis. The Germans knew what a productive town it was, and they wanted to destroy the industry of the city.
German bombing raids on Stoke-on-Trent had a devastating impact, bringing some of the industry here to a near standstill.
Fortunately, the Luftwaffe never succeeded in destroying the mines. But eventually, cheaper alternative fuels came to threaten the supremacy of King Coal. For the men that worked here, the writing was on the wall.
Oil became a highly strategic product, and the United Kingdom depended on its colonial empire and its dominance of the Middle East for its supply.
In 1946, 90% of the UK's electricity was produced from coal.
By the mid-1970s, that figure had dropped by nearly 30%.
Coal, it seemed, was out.
The mine couldn't compete, and its gates closed in 1977. But the mining industry wasn't prepared to go down without a fight. And what happened shortly afterwards changed the landscape of British politics forever.
It was, without doubt, the most bitter industrial dispute in British history, and its long-term impact is still being felt today.
The strike in 85, that was terrible. 1 or 2 went away. There was hundreds and hundreds of pickets trying to stop them.
Violent confrontations between the picketers and police were common, and the strike ended with a decisive victory for the Conservative government. The collieries were closed, and that was largely the end of coal mining in Britain.
Today, the colliery's huge winding engines lie silent and abandoned. But for the men that worked here, the world that once was will never be forgotten.
It was just brilliant, the camaraderie, and that's what we want to try to do now. We've got a lot of memories.